Brilliant. Well, hello, everybody. I am here today with Michael Dalton and Don Chapman, two folks that will be very familiar to, I'm sure, many of you. And we're here to talk about just what's it like being a site member? What are the benefits? What's the values? And what are some of the best experiences that these guys have had over the years with their participation with sites? So what we're going to do is just have a very casual conversation. We've got some questions. But what I would love to do first is perhaps do some introductions. So Michael, why don't we start with you and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Kate, for having me today. Hello to everyone in Site Canada and the greater site community out there. So my name is Michael Dalton, and I'm the founder of a company called MICDROP, MICDROP. So MIC is Meetings, Incentives and Conferences. And I drop into any organization, either at the sales or operations stage, to add value. So I previously had a career of over a decade in the DMC world as a supplier. And most recently, my two main clients in MICDROP are a DMO, a destination marketing organization, so Tourism Northern Ireland. I provide support to them. And I'm also providing support to a direct selling company called It Works International. So I plan all of their international events and programs outside the US. So planning events across Canada for October of this year. And I have a live 600 person program happening this week in Paris. So excited for that.
Amazing. And I didn't realize, Michael, that MICDROP stood for that. That's genius. That is so smart. Yeah. That's very clever. I love that name. Don, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hey, thanks, Kate. And Michael, I am jealous about you going to Paris. Let me tell you, I don't think there's a planner or supplier that's going to be listening to this that won't feel the same. So good on you. Thanks very much. Yeah, Don Chapman. I had the pleasure of leading the conference and event management team at Canada Life. Believe it or not, I find it hard to believe some days, but I've been in the industry 30 years now. I know Kate and I have both had the pleasure of leading the team at Ingram Micro at one point in our careers. I've actually done some public sector event management, leading the events department with the city of Kitchener for 10 years. Done a little bit of teaching at the college level, and even dabbled a bit as a consultant for private sector events at one point. But thrilled to be here, thrilled to be back in the live meeting world post-COVID here. And I love the work that Site's doing at being a leader in how we get back to physical meetings.
Oh my gosh, amen. I don't think anyone would argue with that, would they? Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much again for you both to join this conversation today. Like I said, kind of casual, encourage you both to kind of chime in as we go through some of these questions and just help kind of folks understand why site, why now, and why is it more important really now than ever. They're kind of going through this kind of event renaissance and this whole opportunity around really bringing incentive travel to the forefront of what people are doing. Because I think you guys would both agree there is probably no better, stronger, self-funded marketing tool within an organization than incentive travel, right? So Site just really powers that. So I've got some questions here on my other screen. Why don't I start with you, Michael? How long have you been a member of Site, and what made you join?
Well, Kate, I try to remember back, and I think that I think first of all, I joined and I attended a number of different site events. So it was recommended to me by a former work colleague of mine, Aoife Delaney, who's actually our Site Global President at the moment. So we both worked together at a DMC called Ovation Ireland a few years back, we'll say. And back then, she recommended that I attend some of the Site Ireland events just to get to know some of the other suppliers and get to know the industry a bit better, because I was new to the incentive side of the industry. And after attending one or two events, I then signed up as a member late 2012, early 2013. And really that's because I knew then after attending a couple of events, this is the network I need to be in to kind of grow as an incentive professional, get to know the industry better and get to understand it, because it is a very niche sector of business tourism. And really by learning from others in the industry is how to get ahead and how to really develop as a professional. I don't know what you think, Don, or when did you join, Don?
Well, I've officially been a member for a little over a year now, though much like yourself, I've attended a number of site events over the years. I've had the pleasure of actually speaking and presenting at a couple of events. Um, and it's that networking, it's that opportunity to connect with industry professionals that I think really drove me to finally becoming an official member. I've, people like Kate, Jen Glenn, who we all know as well, have been instrumental in driving the planner side of site forward. I think it's really important not to underestimate the value of being a site member for meeting and event planners. It's an opportunity to not only meet great supplier partners like yourself. I've worked with a couple of times with Ovation as well, so it's a bit of a nepotistic little world we are in. And so it really gives us the opportunity to connect with like-minded professionals, to share best practices, and really strengthen what the incentive industry can mean.
Yeah, it's so
And
true.
I was going to say, John, I find recently having moved more into the planner side in my role as It Works International and planning stuff all over the world, I now get to benefit from getting to use the Site Global member directory to find suppliers in regions that I'm not familiar with them as well. So I fully agree with you. It provides huge benefits for planners. And, if you were to look then as to what was the main reason then that you swapped from just attending site events to joining them as a member, if you had to say?
You know what? I think it's the being a member. I think you mentioned the member directory, Michael. I think that's a really good call out. I think once you become a member of an organization, it gets you access to a lot of resources that you may not have access to. For me, a lot of it is the research, industry leading research that sites really gets involved in. And it's taking that research and being able to apply it, the best practices and the learnings and the information to our organization. And I'm really finding that invaluable. And the other thing is, you get out of what you put into these organizations, right? And I feel Site has provided me with a lot in the past. And you know what? As a planner, I have a responsibility to give back to the organization, which I'm happy to do in any way.
Yeah, that's so true. You both bring up such good points. And, interesting the way you say, when you talk about both of you, kind of how you participate in site. And I think we can talk about this a little bit more too, but, it's not just as a member, you have opportunities in a number of different areas. So obviously as a member, you can attend the events, which are wonderful on a chapter level, but then also on a global level with Site Global Conference, which is an incredible event. You do have an opportunity to participate in other site chapters as well. I know for myself, I'm home-based work out of Toronto, but my offices are in Chicago with BCD. So I've participated in a number of Site Chicago events as well, which has been wonderful to kind of share and grow with both chapters. But then, of course, Don, you and we're on the communications committee together within our site chapter on the board of directors. But then, of course, within the board of directors, I'm the VP of finance. So you have all these different opportunities to participate in site on a committee level, at the chapter member event level, on a global level. And then, of course, to your point, kind of on an education and really diving into that really solid intel that as a planner, as a supplier, as a individual contributor, you have a huge opportunity just to gather this incredible intel that's going to help you kind of propel whatever your role might be. So just really interesting. Okay, cool. So next question for you both, maybe Michael, go back to you. So if you had to describe site to an individual looking to join or that's new to the industry, how would you describe it?
If I was to describe it, I'd say really and if I was to describe how they could really engage or get involved a bit more, I'd say they could connect with their local chapter, attend a local chapter event. The support network of these kind of community of members is really incredible. And it's the thing that will determine whether or not membership is going to be of value to you. And once you've experienced that event or the local chapter, the local members, then look at which membership option might be the most relevant for you. So they have a developing professional membership, which if you're 2 years or less in the industry, you can take that for the first 2 years. They also do prorated memberships throughout the year. So each month the membership is kind of a different rate. And then as we get into October, we're into renewal. So if you join in after the end of next year as well, and the full membership rate as well is I think $445 per year.
That's great. What about you, Dawn? Like, what would you tell someone who might be on the fence about joining or maybe not understand what Cite's all about?
Yeah, if I was to sum it up in a phrase, I think Cite really is a collaborative network of industry professionals. It's a member-driven organization as well, which I think is really important. Like I said before, you get out of things what you put into them. So it's an organization that embraces and encourages collaboration. It's a very collegial organization as well. Just being able for the three of us to get together and chat like we are today really is invaluable, because it's not a formal presentation, one of those 10 slide deck with here's all your membership benefits. I think for me the benefit is being able to connect on a personal level with people, and Cite really embraces that philosophy for me.
Yeah, it really does bring us all a little closer, doesn't it? With
For sure.
a common, and I love the fact that, the meeting, incentive, and conference industry is really large. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar interest, but I think what's wonderful about Cite is that it really focuses on the incentive sector and, the power of business travel for organizations around the world, and how incentive travels really can be that self-funded marketing tool within an organization. Don, I'll start with you this time. So, what are some of the main benefits? And you alluded to this earlier. What are some of the main benefits that you found Cite has helped you in your particular role, either here or previous roles?
I think for me, it's being able to go back to my organization with learnings, with information, trends, ideas, new processes, sharing best practices. For me, it's being able to take that valuable information and education and apply that to what we do at Canada Life, previously at Ingram Micro, Manulife. I've been fortunate to work with a number of organizations that embrace incentive travel, as you say, as a marketing and sales tool. And for me, it's being able to connect with professionals like the two of you and pick your brains. What do you think of this? Am I going crazy? Am I off base here? Have you ever tried this? That's really invaluable information to be able to share with our organization.
Yeah. Michael, what about you?
Kate, I could talk all day about
I know.
membership. To be honest, I think if I was to look at the different roles I've had in the past, maybe just focus on some of the more practical benefits that I've had over the years. I guess the Cite member directory is one first and foremost. You have a pre-qualified directory of over 2,000 industry professionals in different locations around the world to reach out to for help, advice. If you need suppliers in different regions, recommendations, they're there. If you're doing sales calls, you need to fill your diary and find other contacts in different cities. You can reach out to local Cite members there for advice or to arrange appointments with them. One of the other main benefits as well is the Cite Knowledge Centre. And I guess one of the good things, if anything good could come out of the pandemic, is the Cite Knowledge Centre. They've provided access to all of the online courses complimentary to members. Typically, they're about $100 per course, but as a member rate, and then now member rate about nearly $200 a course. But these have all been made free of charge to members at this time. So it's a great benefit to get in and get access to them, because there's courses on like how to sell to the incentive market. So if I, in previous roles, had members of my team that were maybe newer to the area of incentive, they would go on, complete their courses, and they just felt it opened their eyes more to the industry, gave them a better knowledge. Because Cite, as you said, Kate, is the only association dedicated to incentive travel.
Mhm.
And really the education and content provided in this knowledge center is second to none. And then you have
Yeah.
the certifications like the CIS and CITP, which are
Mhm.
brilliant ones to have as well. You also mentioned earlier about volunteer opportunities. So when I became involved in site, one of the first kind of things I did as part of my membership was got involved in the local chapter board and then volunteered globally on the Young Leaders Committee. This enabled me to grow my network, develop strong relationships with people from all different walks of industry across the world. So I have connections from India to Australia to America to Argentina, you name it. And I'm able to reach out to these people, no matter how big you think a problem is that you're having either with work or a client or whatever, someone else in your network has had that problem or that issue
Yeah.
and they've overcome it. So if it's cultural considerations for a program, like if I have a program coming in from Asia or want to know how do I cater better to this client or their needs, I can phone someone in my site network in Asia and get advice off them. How would I deal with this? And that kind of information, you can't put a price on it.
Yeah.
It's that support network to have that in place. And these people on these committees that I've worked on over the years have been able to provide business referrals to me, recommendations, problem solving for me as well. So it's like having a little book of global problem solvers.
Yeah. That's so true. It's our very own black book in the
That's it.
industry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's our own little Rolodex
It's
going back.
a few little benefits that I've
Yeah.
derived.
That's great. That's so true. I know I feel the same way, just having just really expanded my own network just beyond my colleagues at work. You know, I think it's wonderful. A couple of other questions for you both. If you had to talk about one of your fondest memories of site, Dawn, or one of your favorite events, what would it be?
Wow. There's been a lot of favorite events. Certainly the Summit of Americas up in Whistler was awesome. And I enjoy the site golf tournaments in Toronto always. But for me, without question, it was Site Global in Vancouver. And it wasn't just because of, great programming and education, being able to showcase a superior destination. That was the last big event before COVID.
Right. Mhm.
And I remember flying back here to London, and wow, there's a lot of people wearing masks in the airport, and I hadn't grasped the enormity of what was going on. And it was just a few short weeks later that we shut everything down. And for me, having had the opportunity to be with colleagues in person, to network, to enjoy that time and that programming. And then 2 weeks later, all that human connection was gone. That conference for me really highlighted the need and the value in face-to-face meetings and human connection.
Yeah, that was a great event, wasn't it? My gosh,
It was.
you did an incredible job. What about you, Michael? What's your favorite memory or favorite site event?
I'm going to go back a few years to one of my fondest ones, but first I am going to give special mention to an event that I thought was exceptional. It was I had the opportunity to speak for Site Canada in Halifax, Nova Scotia, at an event at the Lord Nelson, and that for me was just really special. We got to engage some new incentive professionals there to provide education about site. I got to see and experience a brand new destination for me, and it was a really, really well-run event. So I really enjoyed that one.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
Thank you. One of my fondest and previous memories would have been back in 2014. I was the recipient of the David Riddell Memorial Scholarship, which is provided by the Site Foundation. And that enabled me the opportunity to attend the Site Global Conference in Rotterdam that year. And it was my first time ever going to the Site Global Conference. So I didn't really know what to expect and is it going to be a good event? And the education was world class. It's exceptional. To be able to brush shoulders with the best of the industry, I got to expand my network, got to see and experience a new destination. I've stayed in touch with many of the people I came across at that event. So I'd say I was incredibly fortunate to be able to receive that opportunity to attend the Site Global Conference in Rotterdam. And if anyone's a young professional or newer to the industry, I would highly recommend they apply for the David Riddell Memorial Scholarship. Just check out siteglobal.com. And you could be joining us in Dublin in 2022 for the Site Global.
I know that will be no fun at all, Michael. Dublin,
Yeah,
2022, after a global pandemic for 2 years, there will be no fun had there at all. Speaking as a fellow Newfoundlander, which I always say, if Iceland and Ireland had a baby, it's Newfoundland. So I feel a slight connection.
There you go.
It's so funny, you guys. One of my favorite events too was I do really enjoy the Site Global events. I think one of the ones I really enjoyed the most was Rome. I want to say it was 2018. And it was just a terrific event, and it was wonderful. Not only because of the destination and obviously the experience being there in Rome, but I had an opportunity to present in a breakout with a couple of industry colleagues, and it was so amazing just to kind of be there and kind of prep for it and have this wonderful conversation. And so it's just those opportunities where you're kind of thrown together with industry colleagues from around the world, and you have this opportunity to connect and be part of something a little bit bigger. So okay, I am going to ask one more question for each of you. I would say the last question, and this might be helpful for people. What do you feel like differentiates Site from other associations? And why do you feel like that's beneficial for folks? Michael, why don't we start with you?
Well, I think Site is, as I mentioned earlier, is a community that really focuses on improving the knowledge around the incentive travel and the business outcomes related to using incentive travel as a reward. It's self-funding for companies as well to generate additional revenue. So it provides the only incentive travel specific certifications in the industry. And it's such a niche high spend area of business tourism that really it needs to have the education and people to know what it's all about or how to service it correctly. I think in the pandemic, we've lost a lot of our talent across the sector to other industry sectors. And it has been hard now for hotels, venues, DMCs, incentive houses to recruit people and then to train them as well, because training can take so long to get a grasp of this. So having these certifications at our fingertips are great. It does so much as well to promote the development of new, authentic local experiences in a destination and helps increase the profile of destinations as well. So it builds this community and promotes knowledge sharing amongst people and provides all these showcase opportunities for people to promote their destinations, their experiences, and to learn from each other as well. I don't think it's kind of similar to any other association in that respect. As John was saying earlier, it's led by our members, for our members. Mm-hmm. It's really about improving the industry and making work life easier for everyone involved.
Yeah, true. Don, what about you?
Ditto. I think Michael summed that up really, really well. There's a lot of great industry associations out there. They all offer something slightly different. For me, I think there's two things that differentiate Site. I really find Site to be a very collegial, collaborative, almost like a family. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that goes back to Michael's comments about this being such a niche market that we're in. We're all in this together. And I think it leads to a family-like approach. It's easy to talk to people. And I think from the education perspective as well, there's a lot of great education and development for people that are new to the industry out there. I think Site has done a great job in developing education and training around leadership, around talking to and providing the tools and resources that experienced and senior planners and supplier partners need. And I think that type of education is what keeps us old folks around. And it encourages you to be involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what other career, you guys are probably very, very similar, but you probably have conversations with friends and, neighbors, et cetera, where, they look at your Facebook page or they look at your Instagram page and they're like, what do you do for a job? And you're just like, well, I design and plan and organize and orchestrate, incredible experiences around the globe for companies and organizations looking to drive performance. And, I think everyone's just like, I want to do that. That's really powerful. That's really amazing that you can have a job which allows you to explore the world and experience the world in different ways, but then also have an opportunity to be part of something like Site, which just really promotes connectivity within this really passionate group of 2,000 people. So, yeah. Any final remarks from either of you?
Kate, I just want to add on to what you're saying, because as professionals, we know this, but being able to communicate that to leadership within our organization, for Michael to be able to communicate that to the groups that he's planning events for, that is really valuable. It moves us beyond the oh, you're the party planners, as we've all heard. It moves us into that position of being strategic business partners within our organizations. And I think Site does a tremendous job in helping frame that discussion.
Yeah,
that's it. I couldn't agree more. Like, I was delivering a CIS program actually in person the last couple of days here in Belfast to 15 of the trade up here. And just even how they do the ROI calculation of an incentive program at the calculators they have as part of that certification, I'm able to incorporate that now in my day-to-day work with looking at it works as well, to make sure that we can calculate, if we're spending X amount on a program, how much are we deriving as a value from that, or return of investment.
Right.
And then it can impact the decision-making process for future programs that we're planning as well. So it's something that they haven't done as a company previously, so something that's new for them. But it's great that the knowledge I've derived from Site, I'm able to apply that to my work there as well. But I'd like to close off by doing a shameless plug, if that's all right, Kate.
yes, my gosh, that's
Dublin.
hey, that's what it's all about. Connection, right?
There we go. So as we know, the conference is coming to Dublin, the Site Global Conference. So it will be the first time that our community has been able to come together as a whole, just the incentive sector. And it's going to be on in January 2022 in Dublin, Ireland. Registration will be opening in a few weeks, and I do expect that it will sell out quite quick. So once it does open, please do register. They're going to have an amazing hosted buyer program, which is hosted by Site, and the applications are on the Site Global website for that. The host nation is Ireland, of course, and it's heavily sponsored by Fáilte Ireland, who are planning some pre-trips to other regions of Ireland for buyers to experience those. And the Tourism Northern Ireland have an incredible post-ban planned up to Belfast as well, if you want to see something exciting, fresh and new. The education is always going to be second to none at the conference, and Site Global's head of events, Tahira, is very involved in creating surprise and delight throughout the entire program. I even believe that she's going to be learning how to do a bit of Irish dancing and do a little river dance performance. I'm actually just kidding, but if she does, I've said it now here, she kind of has to come do it. Yeah. So everyone who's watched this, do go sending her messages saying, I believe you're going to be Irish dancing in Dublin.
Yes, noted.
But yeah, I'd really love to see as many people as possible in Dublin. It'll be an amazing conference. And it's just great to show that this will be a business case to say, look, it's a clear commitment to demonstrate the strength of our industry. It provides a clear example to all of our clients that we can travel international again, and programs can happen in a safe manner. We'll also have a heavy focus on sustainability and offsetting carbon emissions for the conference as well. So we'd like to demonstrate that international programs can happen in a sustainable manner as well. So please join us in Dublin.
That's
and make
brilliant. That's so brilliant. Love that plug. Go ahead, Don. You're going to
I was going to say, and when you talk about traveling internationally, don't you have some programs coming up, Michael?
I do indeed. I'm actually, funny enough, I'm in Paris this Friday. I'm running a program this week for 600 people in person in Paris. So we have We have a full day meeting happening. We have a social event. We're doing a private cruise along the River Seine, overlooking the Eiffel Tower. I know it sounds terrible. It sounds like an awful program.
Sounds dreadful.
I'll get through it, I'm sure.
I know. Well, that's amazing. Well, between your programs in Paris and then your multiple programs in Canada that you've got coming up, Michael, that's pretty amazing. I think we're all very, very excited. I know I'll be in Dublin, really excited to be there and to participate. And I don't think that there's many people out there that wouldn't be, thrilled to participate as well. So I just want to thank you both. This was really fun and it was a good conversation. And I think, if there was anybody that was on the fence about joining site, I think that they're probably already signed up by now. And I think, any of us, of course, would welcome any questions if anybody had them. And we look forward to seeing you
If
guys.
anyone's watching back, please do connect with us on LinkedIn, pop us a question. If you have any questions about site whatsoever, do send them through to us. We'd be delighted to answer them.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. Well, thank you both. I appreciate it. And we will touch base soon.
Thanks,
Bye,
Kate.
everyone.
Michael.